Oh, hello, this is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Please feel free to write me at walkwithtak@gmail.com if you have any question regarding this video or any other video that I have posted in the past. I love stir frying, and for me the main reason that I enjoy stir frying so much is because it's flexibility and adaptability. Because through stir frying, you can make small changes and create big differences in the outcome of the dish. And one of such example is the sauce. Now, sauce play a critical role in any type of cooking. However, there are many different ways to make a sauce. For example, in stir fry, you can make a dish with very little sauce, or you can make a dish with lots of sauce. On the other hand, you can make a dish by changing the consistency of the sauce, such as a dish with a very thin sauce versus a dish with a very thick sauce. And the outcome could be extremely different. And people use this approach to use the stir-fry dish for different purpose. A friend of mine, he will cook a chicken and broccoli dish, and he will make it into different ways. The first way, he will make a very light sauce with very little amount of sauce, so the intensity of the flavor is much stronger with the food ingredients. And in this case, he will create such a dish for eating with rice. However, when he make a dish with a lo mein, which he need a lot of sauce to coat the noodles, in this case, he will make a dish with a heavy amount of sauce. As you can see, by changing the nature of the sauce, you can make a very different applications of how you're going to use the stir-fry dish. There are two basic ways how to make a sauce in a stir-frying dish. The first way is to use pre-made sauce. There are two categories of pre-made sauce. One is pre-made sauce that are used for seasoning almost most different types of dishes. And this type of sauces, which I call it a basic sauce. And this includes hoisin sauce and oyster sauce. Both of these sauce contain thickening agents in it, and this thickening agent usually are in the form of cornstarch. So when you add this sauce to your stir frying, you will automatically create a sauce. Now, the second type of sauces, I would call them specialized sauce. These sauces are designed for the special flavor, such as the teriyaki sauce, kung pao sauce, sweet and sour sauce, orange sauce. All of this sauce already contain a thickening agent. Again, usually they are cornstarch. When you cook with this type of sauces, all you have to do is to add them to your stir frying. And by adding the amount that you want, you can decide how thick you want the sauce to be. However, there are situations that you do not want to use a pre-made sauce to create a thickened sauce. For example, if you want to just use soy sauce, which do not have any thickening agent in it, also, if you want to use a seasoning mix, such as the Walk with Tak basic seasoning mix, which is designed for stir frying, and in this case, you will add water to create a sauce. So your sauce will not be thickened. In this case, you need to thicken the sauce yourself. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate to you how to use cornstarch in stir frying to thicken your sauce. So one question that you might ask is, what is starch? A starch is a carbohydrate that are used by plants to store energies. You will find starch in seed because this is the energy source for the germination of the seed. Now, starch has a unique property because starch normally is not soluble in water. However, when it is heated up, it will form a gel-like structure because it traps water between the molecules. Now, many types of plants produce starch, this including starch that are produced by the wheat, which we call them flour. And as you know, flour is also used as a thickening agent for making sauces, in this case, making gravy. Another commonly used starch is produced by a plant known as arrowroot. So there are quite a few different types of starches that you can choose from. There are two different ways to use cornstarch to prepare a sauce. The first method is that you prepare a cornstarch water suspension. By varying the ratio between the cornstarch and the water, you can decide how thick you want the sauce to be. For example, if you want the sauce to be relatively thin, then you add more water. And usually I start out with 1 part of cornstarch to 3 parts of water. Again, it depends on how thick you want the sauce to be. You can vary that ratio. Since cornstarch do not dissolve in water, so what you are doing is that you are making a cornstarch water suspension. So you have to make sure that you shake it up really well before you add it to the wok. If you let the cornstarch water suspension to sit for any length of time, the cornstarch will settle to the bottom of the container. So make sure you shake up really well before you add it to the wok. In this example, I demonstrate how to create a very thick sauce that will cling to the food ingredients, and this is very common in making teriyaki chicken because you want the chicken's flavor as intense as possible. The thickening of cornstarch is a result of application of heat. As you notice here, as I stir the food ingredients, the cornstarch start to thicken. And in this case, I do not want to heat it for too long because it might become too thick. Because my goal is to create a thick sauce, so I use a high ratio of cornstarch to water. But in case that if you want to make a relatively thin sauce, then you will use more water. In this situation, I want to prepare a sauce that is thin, but I want plenty of sauce because I'm going to use this dish to prepare a lo mein dish. So if I have enough sauce, the sauce will coat the noodles and provide the noodles great flavor. Wheat flour is often used to make sauces as well, particularly in making gravy. However, for stir-frying, cornstarch is preferred because it works much faster. And furthermore, you need a less amount of cornstarch to create the type of thickness that you want. The sauce made by cornstarch should be very smooth. Now, if you detected a clumping, there are 3 things that you can do to avoid that. Number 1 is that make sure that you mix the cornstarch water suspension as thoroughly as possible before you add it to the wok. And secondly is that only use low heat when you forming the sauce, because if you use high heat, the cornstarch are more likely to clump. And number 3, after you add the cornstarch to the wok, make sure you stir the ingredients rigorously to prevent clumping to take place. The second method is to add the cornstarch directly to the food ingredients in the wok. This is very useful if you want to just make a quick adjustment, particularly if you are not going to add a lot of cornstarch. You only want to thicken the sauce slightly. So I will use a spoon and sprinkle cornstarch as evenly as possible over the surface of the wok. And then use your wok spatula, immediately mix the content under low heat. And when you mix it well, the sauce will thicken and you don't have to make this cornstarch water suspension. For me, if I want to do something quickly, this would be a good method to use. I usually take this approach to thicken the sauce a little bit more, particularly when I do not have any more cornstarch water suspension. So this is a easy shortcut. I hope this video provides you an understanding of how to create a sauce using cornstarch and how you can change the consistency of the sauce by varying different aspects of how you apply the cornstarch water suspension. I post a video each day to help you to make home cooking as part of your daily routine using my fast cooking system, which will make home cooking practical, efficient, creative, and fun. If you're interested in my fast cooking system, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. So keep on cooking. I will see you tomorrow.